quarterfinals continue in Nebraska as the NSAA boys basketball tournament hits its second day of action in Lincoln. Sports Force's Irvin Doman has been there all week, and he brings us the latest in Siouxland action.
Day 2 of boys state basketball down here in Lincoln. We have 5 Siouxland teams vying for a shot to get into the semifinal round to possibly play for their class's championship. So let's get right to the action and see who advances. The first game of the day saw the Class D2 1-seed Wynot Blue Devils taking on the 8-seeded Paxton Tigers. It did not take long at all for the stifling Blue Devils defense to pounce and take the steal coast to coast with a Zach Foxhoven lay-in. Chase Schroeder working down low this time. He kicks it out to Dylan Heine, who bangs home the trifecta for the Blue Devils. Wynot back to work on offense with the clock quickly ticking down before half. The first shot no good, but Heine soars in for the putback layup at the buzzer. Wynot would win this one 57-47, and junior guard Zach Foxhoven knows his team is one step closer to their ultimate goal.
We had to play hard defense. They're a really good team. They're solid. Our offense shined. We came out and we kept a steady lead through the game, and everyone contributed, and that's how we got through it. Coming down here, I mean, just making it down is a big achievement for us, but one game closer, it's just a great feeling.
Wynot will now take on Sumner Eddyville Miller in the semifinals. Tip is at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Next up, an all-Siouxland matchup in Class C2. The 4th-seeded Hartington Cedar Catholic Trojans shared the court with the 5th-seeded Elkhorn Valley Falcons. Cedar Catholic getting downhill early in this one with a drive from Jackson Bernecker that leads to an easy lay-in over the Falcon defender. And folks, you are not experiencing deja vu. Bernecker just once again bully balls his way to the hoop and finishes. Trojans are rolling, and this time it is a kick out from Tyan Baller to Carson Arns, who splashes the corner 3 to extend the Trojans' lead. The Trojans would win this one 59-50. Playing their style of game today was a key piece to the victory, according to senior forward Jackson Bernecker.
You know, I mean, we're definitely a pretty fast-paced team too. We love to get out and run, so I mean, we just knew that if we could control the pace of the game, so when we wanted to run, we could run, and when we wanted to slow it down, we could slow it down, and I felt like we did a good job of that tonight.
The Trojans will take on Freeman with a trip to the championship on the line. Tip is set for 1:30 p.m. tomorrow. We'll stay in Class C2 for the next one as the Norfolk Catholic Knights enter as a 7th seed to take on the 2nd-seeded Amherst Broncos. Carter Kirkman will slice through the Bronco defense like a hot knife on butter, leading to an and one after he finishes the layup through contact. The Knights are down big early, but a driving Kirkman swings the ball out to Max Hammond, who wets the corner 3 to close the gap. Norfolk Catholic back on offense this time. Kirkman misses the 3, but Cade Pieper is down low to clean the glass, except he misses his first shot underneath, but the 6'5" big man will not be denied as he gets it to finally drop and gets the and one. The Knights would eventually fall in overtime 57-49. Head coach Kevin Manzer noted a few fundamental things that the Knights struggled with this afternoon.
Yeah, we just needed to be consistent. You know, we were getting good shots early. We knew all along that we had to win the rebounding battle, and we were losing that. Giving them offensive rebounds, giving them transition, and not closing out hard enough on threes.
The Knights end their season in C2 first-round action with a final record of 18-8. The final Siouxland action of the night was capped off with the Santee Warriors taking on the Shelton Bulldogs. Austin Saul walking the ball up the court for the Warriors and decides to let it fly from deep. He cashes in, and the Warriors are now cooking. This time working in transition, Justin Denny passes it up to Kellen Medina, who knocks down the corner 3 to eat into the Bulldogs' lead. Saul gets the ball this time for the Warriors. Pump swings it over to Medina, who buries another triple. Santee has stormed all the way back after being down 13, and the drive and beautiful Euro step past the defender by Denny, who gets the ball to drop in. Santee would lose in heartbreaking fashion 72-68, but they never quit and showed a lot of pride in their team.
Well, they mean a lot. My boys mean a lot to me. They're not only my basketball players, a lot of them are my nephews, you know, blood relatives. Those things mean a lot to me. When I talk about being down at 13 points at the half to a team that lost one game all season, and to climb back into it, take a lead late in the game, that means a lot to me.
Santee ends their season 15-6 in the first round of Class D2 action in their first ever trip to state basketball. In Lincoln, Nebraska, Irvin Doman, KTIV Sports Force.